This is Mark Belton, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. We are here today to share with you how to warm up. So we're gonna go over that. We got the old whiteboard out for you today. I'm playing professor, and kids, we're on page 43, you nailed it. We're on page 43 because I fucking said so. That's the page that we're on. People are confused sometimes about how to warm up. We don't talk about it much here at Super Training Gym because we've been lifting for so long that we kind of forgot some of these important details of warming up. But the key is we got to get our body ready for what we're about to do for the day. So the warm up is going to include, we're going to warm, get everything nice and warm. You actually want to get things warm. You want to actually get your body temperature up a little bit. Summertime, it's not so hard. You get out of your car, you're already sweating your ass off, body temperature is already up a little bit. But when it's colder out, your body temperature is going to be down a little bit, and you have to get yourself warm. The other thing to keep in mind is, while we may feel warm because we're hot from the sun and so on, maybe everything's not warmed up properly, like the elbow joint, the shoulder joint. So in order to accomplish that, we are going to do something very scientific today. For the warm-up, we are going to do stuff. Capital E-S-T there. All right. We're going to do stuff. All right? So we've got some stuff to do. What I mean by that is you can pick and choose some of the things that you like to do, but for today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through some band exercises, do some pulling motions with the band. Now, rather than doing like a hypertrophy workout where you're going to do some lat work, you're going to execute the sets and the reps similar on each set and each rep, and maybe just add weight to each set. We're going to move the shoulders around in a bunch of different ways because we're trying to get the whole shoulder to warm up. We're trying to get the elbows warm. We're also trying to pick exercises that are easy to do the second that you get out of your car and the second that you get into the gym. Something else to understand is if you want to try to mobilize a joint via the stuff that Kelly Starrett does and some other people are starting to do now throughout the world to mobilize the joint and make yourself more mobile and more flexible for the given workout, then you have to make yourself warm before you try to cut into those muscles. Think about it as putting some butter in a microwave for a few seconds before you slice through it with a knife. If your tissues are stiff, then it's going to be that much harder for you to try to cut through those muscles and to try to get everything to open up. So the stuff that we're going to do today is band. We're going to do some band pulls. You're going to see me do some of this. None of this is going to be very scientific. It's going to be pretty easy. We're going to do times a ton. We're going to do a lot. We're going to do some for a few. We're not obsessed with the sets and the reps here. If we wanted to associate some sets to it, just so we have a guideline, we'll say times 3. So 3 sets of it, doing a crap load of reps, because we want to get everything warm and ready to go. We also want to get the central nervous system fired up, and we want to be excited about our lifting because we have to lift explosively. If we're going to lift for power, we're going to lift for strength, we got to be able to move fast. So we're going to also do some band. Hope you're still following me. Band pushes. See how hard this is? These exercises aren't special. Learned how to spell that yesterday, by the way, by looking at my bank account, bitch. So band pushes 3 times a bunch. We're gonna go back and forth between these two to save some time. So we got this guy, we got this guy. We are supersetting. We're supersetting all this together. This last one can be by itself just due to like logistics. These two are on the same piece of equipment. This last one is by itself. We're gonna do some biceps. Biceps. We're going to add one more to the mix, my bad. Biceps. How do we spell biceps? Is there a T in there? I think that's right. There's 2 muscles in there, the biceps. So biceps, same thing, 3 times a ton. Do a bunch, some for a few, doesn't really matter. And the last thing we're going to do is some arm circles. Whoa. You can see the difficulty that I go through on a daily basis. I don't even know what I'm doing. 3 times, well, let's go back to the million because that was fun, wasn't it? So we got these 2 paired up. We got these 2 paired up, and they're coming in here like this. This guy is going to go over here. We got this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. They're in a 3-4, linebackers out here, got the middle linebacker here, the other outside linebacker here, and they got the safety over here, safety over top. They got the corner, the other corner's over there. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this receiver to go all the way across through here. So we're going to get our tight end, who's over here, to run through here and drag this guy this way. And that's going to drag this guy this way. This guy won't be able to stay with that guy, and this guy's going to be wide open. The quarterback's going to throw it right in the corner there. It's all about the execution. The offensive line, we got to get better production from our offensive line. They're going to have to step it up. The fullback's going to have to come up in here and block because we know how aggressive that linebacker is in there. And so we got to make sure all that happens. And if it does, we'll be able to win. Anyway, sorry for that. Sometimes I get fired up and get excited. But here's the plan for today. You can pick various exercises. You can easily, instead of some of these band pulls, you can do some lat pull downs. You can do straight up like almost bodybuilding work before you even start this workout. But again, these are exercises that are really easy to perform right when you get out of your car, right when you get to the gym. They don't require anything special. Arm circles, how long have those been around for these guys? We're going to do those like this. When we feel better, we're going to do them like that. We feel better, we're going to try to get them like that. We're going to move them this way and move them that way, move them every which way. So that's that warm-up. Now, we're going to erase all this in a second. There's two different types of warm-ups. There's a warm-up to prepare you for the actual movement you're going to do for the day, and there's the actual warm-up that you're going to do with the movement that you're doing for the day. Two different things, sounds the same, slightly different. This was to get your body prepared for bench pressing, so we're not in messed up and compromised positions for the bench press. We took care of the shoulders, the joints that are involved. The joints that are involved are the shoulder joint, the wrist joint, and the elbow joint are all involved in the bench press. We took care of all those joints, and now we're going to roll up a few more. And we're going to get into the actual warm-up. So, let's go like, yay, 400-pound bench, 400-pound bench. Oh, I might run out of space and have to use, like a little kid, write it downward. 400-pound bench, and we'll go 300-pound bench. Easiest thing to do when you're talking about attempts in a meet, or if you're talking about the working weight that you're going to use for the given day, the easiest thing you can do is to kind of work backwards. Now, we already understand some of the weights that we're going to take in the beginning, so we can write some of those out first too. But after that, we're going to want to work backwards through the middle. So we want to go, we always want to warm up with the bar. Doesn't matter how strong you are. I'll do a little math over here for you. 300-pound bench equals bar. 400-pound bench equals warming up with the bar. 500-pound bench equals bar. 600-pound bench equals warming up with the bar. So again, I'm sorry, but things get complicated. We're going to warm up with the bar. That's what we're going to use. 45 pounds. We're just trying to get our body ready for the movement for the day. We're going to move the bar around. We're going to lower it. We're going to raise it. And we're going to do a system check. We're going to check engine light. We're going to see how that is. We're going to make sure that the wrist is okay. Make sure that the elbows are okay. Make sure the shoulders are okay. Moving the bar around is an indicator of how you're going to feel for the day. It's an indicator of possibly what equipment you're going to need for the day. If you lay down on the back and, oh my God, my back is so tight I don't even know where to begin because I deadlift the other day, you might need to wear a belt for the day. If you get down on the bench and your wrist is killing you, you might need to put your wrist wraps on a little earlier in the workout, or you might need to wear wrist wraps, period. Maybe you don't normally wear them. It's going to be an indication of what you're going to do today. It's going to be a little bit of a system check, and if you go to bench and you're benching like this, getting the shoulder to rotate like this a lot, then you're going to have to mobilize your shoulder before we get back to some of this benching. You can use the bar. I'll show you in the warm-up. You can use the bar to get you to go through some of those ranges of motion and work that out to the point where now you're in a good solid bench position rather than you benching with douchebag syndrome. So next weight we're going to do 95, 95, 135, 135. Now, here's what you want to pay attention to here. You're going to do 135 for as many sets, not reps. You're going to do 135 for as many sets as it takes you for the day. This can be applied to a powerlifting workout. This can be applied to a bodybuilding style workout. It doesn't really matter. The amount of reps that we're going to use in here is, this first one can be 10 to 20. It doesn't really matter because it's just a bar. But everything else is just going to be kind of fives until we get down the road here. 10 to 20, 10 to 20. And, I'm sorry, messed that up. 5, 5, right? So you may have to do this a few times. If you get underneath the weight and you squatted the day before, you squatted a big PR or deadlifted a big PR and you feel like crap, you might have to do 135 for 3 sets. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to go through that a couple times. Now for the stronger guy, he can start to nickel and dime. He can start to conserve energy and you can go to 225. Okay, you can do 5 reps there. You can go to 275 here and do 3. You can go to 315 and do 3. And this workout, the workout that I'm doing today, is about 3 to 4 sets of 3 reps. So we're just going to kind of 3 to 4 sets, 3 reps. 3 to 4 sets, or 3 to 4 sets of 3 reps. So for this particular workout, once we get down to the bottom here, it's going to look a certain way. But even if you're going to do sets of 5 and sets of 8 and so on, you can still take singles, doubles, triples in your warm-up to conserve energy, but also tap into the nervous system and get your body ready for what you're about to do. You don't really have to do all the repetitions that you're asked to do in a day. For example, if this workout was 3 sets of 8, we don't have to do 8 reps all the way through. Now we can if we want to get that extra work in, but I'm telling you that you don't have to do it that way. You can do it this way, conserve some energy, and save some energy for your main sets so you can use a little bit more weight. So this guy is in the 400-pound range. This guy is in the 300-pound range. We're going to start to fill in a little bit more here. Now it's important right here, we're starting to get close to that. So now we got to figure out how are we going to get this guy to, the working weight for the day is 400 pounds, by the way. Maybe this guy benches more like 450 or 500, okay? That's something I should have pointed out a little earlier. But that's the working weight. And this guy might be more in the 350 range to 400, okay? I should have pointed that out a little bit earlier. But the main working weight for the guy's going to use for the day is 400. Main working weight the guy's going to use here is 300. Then I get down here to 315 for 3. Now here's where we start to work ourselves backwards a little bit. We talked about 400 being the weight that we're going to use for the day. We're going to go 400, boop. And we're going to go, again, we're doing 3 reps, right? So 3 reps. And here's where we're going to save a little bit of energy. We're going to go 340, 365, and we're going to do 1 rep and 1 rep. 1 rep. Now, you can do too many reps. It's important. Make sure you get the face in there. You can do too many reps in your warm-up, but you can't do too many sets in your warm-up. Sometimes the sets may compromise the top sets that you're doing for the day, but for the most part, it's going to help. So if you sneak in an extra set or 2, don't worry about it. It's probably not going to compromise your top set. What can compromise your top set the fastest is if you did 10 reps at 275 and 10 reps at 315, then you might not even be able to do 315 for 10 if your working weight's 400. You're going to be tapped out. You're going to be tired out. It's going to be really hard to get there. So that's how we got to this number here. That's how we got here. We went 340 for 1. We went 365 for 1. You can see the jump from here to here, and the jump from here to here is kind of strategic. Don't be afraid to use the 2.5 pound weights in your training. Now we're gonna go down here and start to work this backwards too. We got 300, we're going times 3. And now we're gonna go about we'll go 285. 285 times 1. We're gonna go 260 times 1. Here you go, 230 times 1, and we're pretty much all set through here. Some of these numbers right here are set up because that's with a 25 on the bar, that's with the 45 on the bar, that's with we'll actually change this guy out to be 205. Let's erasey that guy. Just so that the jump matches up to the next one that we're doing too. So the jump isn't too great. 205. This doesn't have to be some crazy mathematical equation. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you prepared and set up for that last set. If there's one extra set missing from here, if there's one extra set added to here, it's not going to make or break you for the day. What we're really trying to do is make sure that we are ready and prepared 100% for this final set, for this last set, for the start of the working sets. We're making sure that we're prepared for that. And the way that we're making sure we're prepared for that is by selecting the right weights and making sure we have the energy to get through the entire sets. Let's say we have somebody that's got like a 200 pound bench, right? You got somebody that benches around 200 pounds. 200 pounds is their max, right? And their working weight for the day is going to be 175. That 7 really got killed, didn't it? Their working weight's going to be 175. Okay? That's going to be the working weight. They're going to do 3 sets of 3, right? Pretty challenging workout for someone that benches around 200 pounds. We're doing the bar. Remember we talked about the bar. We're going to do 95. When we get to 95, you might do 95 for 1 set, you might do it for 3 sets, but we're not advancing until we feel right. We're not advancing or progressing past that until we feel okay. We're going to do sets of 5 there. We're going to take 135, and this is where we're going to start to get cheap. This is where we're going to start to get real cheap and try to conserve our energy towards these final sets. We're going to do a single. When you do these, when you're doing these sets, when you're doing this stuff, start to get aggressive. You're benching 175 for the day. 135, if you're warm and you did all the other warm-up stuff that I showed you earlier, 135, take it out of the rack. When it's time to start, when you got the weight locked out and you're ready to go, bring it down aggressively, press it aggressively, and be ready to go. Again, you might need to do this for 2 to 3 sets. It might not be something that you only do for 1 set. Next weight we're going to go to is we're going to start to split the difference between 135. We know 175 is the end weight, right? We know that 175 is the end weight, and we're going to go, we're doing sets of 3, right? 3 sets of 3. And so now we have to track back. What would be a good weight right here, and what would be a good weight right here? So we go to about 160, about 15 pounds lighter than that. We go to 160, and we're going to go to about 150, 145 right here. You can kind of pick your poison on that one, 145 to 150. A lot of times with females, we'll go about 165, and we're going to do both of those for a single. So it might look like you're cramming a lot of work in before your main set, but again, this is getting your body primed and ready for that top set right there. And you can skew these a little bit, 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there. You can even take the 115, which is very common for a lot of girls to do, and they'll throw that in there. Let's just say 3 reps. So you can even kind of throw that in there and even have an extra set. Don't be scared to have a lot of sets in your warm-up. They're with lighter weights. They're not going to compromise your main sets. And also, you get to really learn a lot about your body, and you learn how you respond to all this, and you're going to learn exactly what you need when you go into a competition, when you're trying to select your opener. You're going to start to learn, you know what, if I make a 25-pound jump, I know that the opener is going to be a real bitch because my body's not used to that. My body's only used to 15-pound jumps, 10-pound jumps, and so on. So it should look a little something like this. Again, you're taking the bar, 95, 115, 135, 145 to 150, about 160 to 165. Last set's 175, and you're doing that for 3 sets of 3. That's how you get warmed up if you bench press around 200 pounds. It's important that you know how to warm up. Without proper warm up, you're not going to be able to lift the most amount of weight the safest. You got to stay safe to be able to stay in the game for a long time. With the right warm up, you're going to maximize the amount of weight that you're going to be able to use for that particular day. Strength is never a weakness, and that is it from Super Training Gym.
Thanks for watching the last video, guys. If you want more content, be sure to subscribe, like, share it. Leave your comments below on what you thought. If you want to see more content from the strongest gym in the West, be sure to click up here. And if you guys want the best gear in the powerlifting game, all the strength sports, slingshot, right over here.